Hey guys, how's it going? I have another quick how-to for you. In today's video, I'm gonna teach you how to uninstall or remove the factory exhaust on your Cayman or Cayman S. In our instance right here, we have a 2008 Cayman S. Now in this video, I'm just gonna show you how to remove the exhaust from the catalytic converter's back. So the cat back exhaust on the stock Cayman. I'm just gonna show you how to remove that in case that's what you want to replace. I know a lot of companies sell just the exhaust from the cat back, and that's a cheaper option to get a cool sounding, more efficient performance vehicle to add performance to your car. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to remove the stock one so that you can throw on your aftermarket one. In our case, we're removing the headers also, but that's in the next video on how to remove the headers because we have a brand new exhaust going on this car. I'm gonna give you a quick glimpse at the exhaust that we're gonna be putting on this. Okay, so this is the sole performance competition exhaust for the Cayman S. They make it for the Cayman, also a bunch of other models. But like you see here, we got the full headers, cat delete. We have the glass pack resignators and the exhaust tips and the X pipe there. But like I said, in this video, we're just gonna be removing the mufflers, the stock mufflers from the catalytic converter's back. So the very first step to do that is we have to get the car off the ground. All right, so luckily for me, I have this awesome scissor lift right here. So this is a quick jack. They're kind of pricey. I really love it. I think it's totally worth it. If you don't have something like this or a 2-post or 4-post lift, you know, jack stands, that can work just fine. If you're doing it at your home garage or driveway, you really only need to jack up the rear end. And the reason we do that is we need the access through the wheel wells. It's way easier to get to some of the nuts and bolts if we do that. So just jack up the car safely, however you can. Okay, now that the car is up off the ground, let me just quickly go through the tools you're gonna need for this job. It's actually extremely easy. You only need a few tools. So right here, we have all the tools necessary to remove the catback stock exhaust. Right here's kind of a given. We have the 19 millimeter to remove these stock lug nuts so we can remove the wheel, or both rear wheels. And then we have a 10 millimeter socket and a T25 Torx bit. And these are used to remove the access panel behind the rear wheels. There's like a little panel there, you'll see, but you just need a 10 millimeter T25 Torx bit. Now, to actually remove the exhaust, there's a bunch of nuts and bolts that are all 13 millimeter. So I have a stubby 13 millimeter socket right here. Then I have a longer 13 millimeter, and then I have a 13 millimeter like ratcheting floppy head box wrench here. Now that's all you're gonna need to remove the catback exhaust. Okay, so like I said, there's a little access panel you're gonna need to remove. That's right here. It's extremely easy. You got a 10 millimeter, 10 millimeter, and then the T25 Torx bit right there. And you can see the exhaust is right behind. So removing this will give you really good access to the nuts and bolts right here. The view you have right behind that access panel we just removed, so you can see it gives you perfect access to the nuts and bolts you need to remove. So these are the 13 millimeter nuts and bolts. This is your catalytic converter right here. So from here back is what we're gonna be removing in this video. So to start off, we need to remove these 3 bolts, nuts and bolts on each side. So we'll do that right now. Okay, so we just removed those 3 nuts. You can see them right here. They were very rusted on my car. This example of a Cayman it's very high mileage, so that's to be expected. And anyway, so another tool that really helped out, you can do it without it, but it really helped, is like a swivel attachment for your 13mm socket. Various extensions. This one was the one that helped me the most. It's just a medium one. I believe this is like a 6-inch extension, or an 8-inch or something like that. And then I use my cordless impact. If you don't have that, it just takes a little bit longer. This is just way quick. So that's what I did there. So we are on the passenger side here. So I'm gonna go do that super fast on the driver's side, and then we'll jump to the next step. But you don't really need to watch me. It's the same thing. But let's jump to the next step. So this is the driver's side. It's the exact same process as the passenger side. You know, you got the 3 13mm bolts on the right behind the catalytic converter there. And like I mentioned, this is a very high mileage Cayman, and with high mileage cars, you get rust. So on this side, it was way more rusty. So I had to bust out my PB blaster there, and the top nut, when you're doing this, you'll see there's one on the top. It's really hard to reach. So I ended up having to get some various extensions for my sockets and that kind of stuff. And as soon as I was able to make it work, you'll be able to figure it out. I was able to put enough tension on there, but it was so rusted, I just snapped the bolt. Which I guess we're fixing a problem. This was seized, and that's not even an issue because Soul Performance sends us brand new hardware for that. Even if you were just doing the catback exhaust, they send new hardware anyway, so not a big deal. So we got everything loose over here, so now we're gonna go to the muffler mounts, which are underneath the car. Okay, so now we're dealing with the muffler mounts. So you can see right here, there's a lot of nuts and bolts going on and some bracketry. The only things you really need to focus on are these 2 right here. So the muffler, this kind of flange attaches to the mounts right there. So those are the 2 bolts we're gonna remove, and those are just like the other ones, they're 13mm. Okay, so this is a nut and bolt combo. So on the back side here where it's really tight is the nut, and then this is the bolt head. So you will have to grab your box wrench. Mine is a ratcheting box wrench with a swivel head. You may not have that, but that's okay. Basically, you're just holding the nut in place. You can see it spinning there. See that? So you just want to hold that on there. Whoops. There we go. Okay, so once these nuts and bolts are removed on both sides, the muffler is actually just going to be hanging there. So be very careful, because you know, if everything's really loose, it'll just fall down on you. So I'm going to reposition myself so I can hold this part or this part, depending on how easy it is, with my knee. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did right here on the driver's side. And once that's done, you'll be able to pull down and out the exhaust. Awesome. Okay, so you probably just saw that, but it's now loose. So if you go over to the connections that we undid in our first, these first ones, see how it's already coming apart? So that's what you want to do. You want to lower the exhaust by at the same time pulling it towards the rear of the car. Just like that. Okay. So you can see this is the technique I'm using, which is kind of funny, but I'm by myself here. Well, I have my camera lady, but she's holding the camera. So boom, just like that, the exhaust is out. It's not too heavy, it's probably like 50 pounds. So there we go. Okay, so we just removed the stock Cayman S catback exhaust It was actually extremely easy. If it wasn't for that one really rusted on bolt that we ended up snapping, we would have had this thing off in probably 15, 20 minutes. And now comes the fun part. If this is all you're doing, if you're adding the aftermarket catback exhaust, now you get to play with all your new equipment and start fitting it, and that's the fun part. But for us, we are going to be moving on to the headers next, but I'm going to end this video here. If you want to learn how to remove these stock headers, that'll be in my next video. I'll post probably tomorrow, but tune into that one. But thank you for watching. I have a lot more videos coming in, especially my favorite video coming up soon is going to be the brand new exhaust that we're installing. But thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.